This is an introduction to using Tableau, which is your data visualization tool, and we'll be doing an assignment using Tableau. So on the initial, once you've downloaded the Tableau software to your PC or your Mac, when we bring it up, you'll be needing to enter the key. All that information is posted out there for you. And when you bring this after you've entered that key, the first thing you're going to see here is this connect aspect. And this is saying, what data do you want to connect to? And we can see we have some main headings here. Do we have different types of files that we're going to connect to use that data, or are we going to connect to a server? And down here, you probably won't have this on yours, or saved data sources, something that you've already done and worked with. And so if we look under the files options for data, we're going to see the first one being Microsoft Excel, but there's a variety of different ones. Microsoft Access is the relational database, as well as textual files. JSON is something we do in the big data arena. We see all these different types of ones here. So we're going to be selecting Microsoft Excel, and when we click on it, it's going to go to your Tableau repository, and it has downloaded these two options, these two files, both sample files. The first one is from the European Union, and the second one is the US-based one. We're going to select the US-based one. We're going to say open, and that's going to bring that data into what we're going to be able to do in terms of analysis. And when we get here, we see that we have, over on this left-hand side, we have 3 different tables. And if you were in an Excel document, you would think of those as tabs. And so we're going to attach these tables because those are the ones we're going to be using. So the primary one is the orders table. But we also want to use the data from both people and returns. And so we want to associate those two files with the orders file. So I selected people, I drag it over there, I selected returns, and we're going to add returns there like that. One other thing I want you to notice up here in this right-hand side is where it says connection live or connection extract. If your connection is live, it means it's connecting to a database that has current information in it, and that data is going to be constantly updating. And if you extract it, you're going to take that data, you're going to take like a screenshot, if you want to think of it like that, and that's the data you're going to be using with. Depending on the size of the data, you may want to use extract because the processing time may increase if you keep it at a live connection. With this file we're using, it's not large enough that we need to worry about it, so we're just going to keep it on the live component. So we've taken our Excel file, we've brought it into Tableau, and then the next piece we're going to do is go to the worksheet, and it's labeled Sheet 1. We are now on the Sheet 1, the first part of where we would start working in creating a visualization and doing some analysis. And we can see the 3 tables that we wanted to work with: orders, people, returns. And inside of there, if you remember from looking at relational databases, we call these attributes or column names, fields, depends on the tool you're using. And we can see all those different components inside of that one table. So when we take a look at the orders table, we see a little icon off to the left side, and that gives us an indication of the type of data that information is stored as. So category, we see this ABC that tells us it's textual information. We see city, country, postal code, and state with a little globe icon, which is going to tell us it's geographical information. We see order date and ship date. That's going to be the data type of a date. So it's formatted like a date. And then we see these ones with the hash or the number symbol, and that's telling us that it's numerical data. And that's something that we're going to want to do some sort of calculation with it. So to start and create our first basic visualization, we're going to select this first item here, this attribute segment, and we're going to take and drag it from this location up to columns and release it. So this object right here is called a pill in the Tableau world. And then we're going to grab this other one that's called profit, which we see as a numerical data type, and we're going to drag it to rows. And it automatically selects from this set of options up here that says show me, where it automatically creates a bar graph. And I'm going to enlarge this just a little bit so you can see the names of those headings down below. So the segments, we have consumer, corporate, and home office. So this is a sample sales information, and the different segments are these three segments. And we selected sum of profit. We selected profit. It knows it's a calculation. It automatically defaults to sum. If we don't want sum, we can do the drop down little arrow there, and we see all these different options that we might want to choose. And we can do that because it's a numerical data type. So maybe instead of the sum, we want average. And so that's going to give us a little bit different display or information. So we can go back and forth and easily toggle between those different options. Again, it depends on what you're trying to see. After we've created this initial graph, we're going to start to enhance it a little bit, and we want to add a little more interest. In this middle section, we have a couple different options. You can see pages, filters, and marks. So we're going to start working in the marks component. We have color, size. We can add some detail there. We can add a label and something that's called a tooltip. The tooltip is when you take your mouse and you hover over something, it's going to provide additional information. We're going to start by using the color component. And so we want to think about what is it we want to put to color so that we can take this visualization and be able to make some sort of decisions. So once we move this subcategory, pill up to color, we can start to see more information that helps to tell a story for what's happening here. So we can look under the consumer category, and we can see accessories as one of the large categories. We also see phones as a large category, and copiers. So those are kind of the few highlights. We can also see the use of color across these. So when we look at the consumer segment, the subcategory is storage in all three of those. We can actually modify that color if we want to. Maybe we have our own color scheme within our company. We could take and modify these type of colors. But this is a simple introduction to using Tableau and creating your first visualization.